coward hiding in my igloo of nerdy awesomeness. Also, while we're waiting on this to warm up and for me to share the videos, which I should probably start doing, I did want to tell you guys one pro tip. When you go out for drinks with a friend, with a coworker, with your boss, hypothetically,
This is going to be good.
and you have pizza that maybe has mushrooms on it, you better step away to the restroom and check your grill. So I got home and I smiled and it looked like I had like 400 cavities. And I was like, this poor guy just sat through this whole 2-hour thing of me looking like this. And, because I smile a lot when I talk and I was like, oh, this is horrible. So I felt like a big dork.
That's so funny. And, I mean, what do you do? How do you say, hey, you got a little something in your teeth without trying to make the person embarrassed? It's a hard situation, John.
I'd rather have that, though, than go through the whole night, get home. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So, yeah, anyways, I felt like a big idiot, and that was a bummer. But
well, that's really funny, man. But, hey, you know what? I'm sorry that happened to you. But
I thought it was funny.
Perfect. I would say, John, that's some perfect open show vamping, though. You know what I mean?
Like
so
that?
great job, dude.
Hot take. What?
Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa.
All right, you guys. We are all shared out. We are streaming live for over a minute, which tells us that YouTube and Facebook are officially unconnected. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off here. No drum roll on the glass desk tonight because I got a lot of stuff going on here, including a mountain of books to talk about, which we're very excited about. So we're going to go ahead and just kick it off here. And it's your boy John on Demand, looking so Clark Kent, fresh with these lenses on. Blue light blockage, but not blocking this mountain of comics. Joined, of course, by co-CEO Tom Devine. There can only be one. 605 Highlanders, not in the building because he's outdoors. So if the sky was the roof, then you'd be in the building. Boom.
That's right, man.
We are a comic book look, you guys, proudly sponsored by Rainbow Comics here in Sioux Falls and Lincoln, Nebraska. Tom, how are you doing?
I'm doing so good, John. It's New Comic Book Day. I got a huge stack. I got a present in the mail from Bezos, and then I also got some other comics I'm going to tell you about. So, I mean, I'm just ready to bust right into these comics. It's New Comic Book Day. I mean, and share what I have found. How about you, John? How are you doing, man?
Man, life's good. I am off until next Thursday, so I'm so excited. And I am actually going to be visiting another awesome comic shop this weekend, so more to come on that, you guys. I'll tell you all about it. I'm very, very excited for some traveling coming up for sure. So,
dude, I'm stoked for you, and I'm stoked to hear what shop you're gonna go to. So, and hear how it was. Well,
yeah.
I guess
yes. But yes, we have a mountain of books tonight, you guys. Tom and I are kind of flying through tonight because we've had a high voltage week, and because I said before the show, I gotta watch Loki before bed. So we got some priorities tonight. So if you guys are tuning into the live, hit us with those comments. If you're not tuning into the live, hit us with those comments, and we'll follow up as quick as we can. But like Tom said, we're just gonna jump on in here. Tom, you've been posting some reviews of books that just came out today. You must be current on your reading. You're crushing it. I'm impressed.
No, I'm not.
I'm so behind. I'm behind.
How my current reading goes is I get a stack of what I need to read, and then the ones that I'm not excited about, they kind of trickle down to the bottom, and then Saturdays, Sundays, those are the ones that I usually get those in. But then there's ones usually that will still be at the top of my list on Wednesday that I want to grab. So. That's what I read today, and I was like, and then also I kind of like flipped through and was like, can I read these fast? I mean, who knows when we're going to start a comic book look? I'm kind of chilling out. Let's check it out. And so it's kind of like half I thought I could finish them quick, and then half I was excited to read them. So and I'll jump right into it, John, if you don't mind.
Get it.
All right, one of the ones I already read is The Good Asian. I think this is a great book. This is the second issue. It's from Image. It's taking place in the early 1900s, and it is just a hard-boiled crime noir story that's with a detective on the case, but it has this really, really good spin of highlighting, what it's like at that same time for an Asian American. and specifically for Chinese people in the world. And it's really talks about this police officer who is the first Chinese police officer in San Francisco, and how he has to play both sides to try to get the information he wants. And it's just a really, really well done book. And so I was stoked to get it, and I read it all the way through. So I, totally liked it. 4 out of 6 beers is what I gave it. And I'm stoked to keep on reading it, man.
Definitely. This next one that I'm going to lift up, I saw that you read it too. So I think this might be kind of a thing here. So I have not read this one yet, but I did read issue 1. And we're talking about our good friend E from Boom Studios. So with this was interesting because I just watched the Netflix anime Eden, I believe is what it was called, and it reminded me so much of that story of kiddo wakes up and whatever, that post-apocalyptic future, whatever the case is. But Tom, that review you did was harsh AF.
Well, I mean, you have to remember, what John's talking about is I picked up as well. And I finished reading it, and I gave it 3 out of 6 beers. I mean, that's right down the line. That's not a bad book. A bad book is 1 out of 6 beers. It's a good book. It's worth reading. The art is really good, but it doesn't hit the Tom Devine thing, right? The thing that makes it good for me, where it stars like a little 11-year-old girl. I thought maybe if it was going to kind of be, I felt like she was going to be alone. Now we're adding some elements. Her father's talking to her from outer space. The bear is helping her. There are actual people in the world. They're zombies. But then at the end of the book, spoiler, just shut your mouth or shut your ears for 30 seconds if you don't want to hear this. Okay. You haven't read it yet, so I'm not going to spoil it. But there's something happens at the end of the book where on the very last page where I was like, huh. And maybe it will come together. I'm definitely not done reading it. And maybe it's just that little dip to make the other ones better. But this book, while I read it all the way through and I had no problem reading it, and I can see that it's well written and well drawn, it just didn't, I feel like the elements that are going into this book are making it a little too YA for me, a little too young adult. And while I can love a young adult story, maybe this one just isn't the best for my 35-year-old male sensibilities with father of 3 kind of thing.
Sure. Well, as per tradition, you guys, if I were to give this a review, I haven't even read it yet, but the first one I loved. And honestly, when you get panels of a big cyborg teddy bear looking like that, I mean, come on, that had to be at least been a 4 or a 5. I mean, I don't know. That's where I'm at, only because I love just the craziness and zaniness of it. And it just timed out that I read issue 1 of Eve, and then I watched the anime, and I was like, dang, all right, I'm getting some themes for this week, so.
And I'm stoked you like it, and I think you will like the second issue just as much. I mean, I don't think it'll be a swoop. Like, you'll give it a 5 or a 6 for sure.
Woo! Do you think I'm more of the nice judge on America's Got Talent?
I'm like, Simon, no, please, God, no. Oh man, can I be Randy? Oh, that's gonna be for me, dog.
You're next, actually. That was my pick.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm going with Geiger, another one I read. So we got Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. These guys are 2 industry vets. You know them because you've read if you read Batman, Superman, Justice League, Green Lantern, you know what these guys can do. So we know that they're the best of the best, and they're going to Image to bring us this new story. And what do you think it's like? It's awesome. It's from the pros. I mean, they know exactly what they're doing. These are true professionals. So Johns gives you just enough, but always wanting a lot more. And then, Gary Frank is just so good at storytelling. He knows how to do it. In the scripts, you clearly can see that Johns are putting in are good. And you know what I even like more is that even though it is a superhero, and as I've talked about a lot, having superhero fatigue, I don't have it for this because it's so well done. He is not spoon feeding it to you. You could be lost even reading this book if you're not reading it as an active reading. as an active reader and paying attention to the panels and the panel changes. There's a lot of backstory in this one, and there's a lot of flashbacks of what's happened in the past. And it's hard to even understand when that's happening for if you were just trying to flip through it, you know, casually reading Justice League style. But if you're paying attention to that storytelling and you're reading everything that John just giving, you realize that these guys just make good comics. So, man, I had such a blast with this. 6 out of 6. I'm wanting more. All I want is more of this comic, dude. I definitely want to read like 3 or 4. And like when this trade comes out, people who missed it, it's going to be so fun to just read that right in a row. But you can tell because Johns has that BKV and that Lost kind of thing where like end of the episode of Lost, you're like, well, I have to watch another episode of Lost. It's the same thing that's going on with this and goes on with Saga or the Y the Last Man or any of those that are just have perfected that comic book thing of always giving you enough. Who knows if the creator even knows how they're going to end it? Probably not. Yeah. But they are doing such a good job serializing the story that you're hanging with no matter what.
No. Did we ever nail down what issue we're going to be illustrated into?
Yeah, he said like 6 or 7. So it's coming up. But I mean, I told him he needs to bump it up. Or he's going to lose the comic book look audience. And that could be devastating.
I mean, it's hard being an influencer, you know?
It is. It is.
Sounds so douchey. Oh, my God. So, Tom, most important DC book that came out.
What? Oh, yes. If it's not Man-Bat, I am going to be pissed. What do we got?
It's not Man-Bat, so you're going to be pissed. But it is going to be the Joker #4 with the creepy cardstock cover, and I really enjoyed it. This book, if you guys are not reading it right now, is a complete supplemental to the Batman and Detective Comics. I actually like this the best. Commissioner Gordon is just like the man with the plan, and he has a bit of a BA streak to him. I would definitely have a beer with him. And I think that it's just such a crazy look into Commissioner Gordon. Joker, I don't even care about in the Joker book. Like, I just care about Commissioner Gordon. So you guys, if you're not checking it out, it's hot. It's so much fun. Definitely. The past issue, I would definitely give it a strong 5 out of 6 beers for sure.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Since I wasn't reading Batman, I dropped it after that first issue. But, you know, I'm sure maybe eventually I'll go back and, you know, I will read it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But all right, I'm up next then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got this is the last book I think I read today, I think. 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. All right, that's too much of a title. It's a new issue. It's a new comic from Skybound. So you guys, Skybound is Robert Kirkman of Walking Dead fame. He started that imprint at Image. So you know it's not creator owned, but it is creator owned. It's actually owned by Skybound, and they do that so they can kind of get maybe rights to the same people that put Walking Dead on TV and have put other things on TV or found movies. So they have the line to those kind of people. So a lot of cool creators and a lot of cool concepts are done over at Skybound, and this is one of them. It takes place as this asshole Hollywood actor who just pissed off everybody for 100 years, and he's, you know, maybe, you know, not 100 years, over exaggerating, but he's maybe 50, 60 years old, kind of at the end of his acting career, and he dies. And it could be a suicide, it could be murder, but 6 sidekicks who played his sidekicks in different TV shows throughout the years are coming together in a way to try to figure it out. But more importantly, they're just having fun. And then the style is 100% cartooned, so it is so funny. You know, just the storytelling and the artwork of it, I really, really enjoyed it. It's very, very clear type of cartooning that is to this person's style, all the exaggerated faces and stuff. I'm just definitely a big fan of the art in this, and so yeah, man. You know, I'll have to actually. I don't want to say that I gave it a wrong or a different rating than I gave it online, because I gave it a 4 out of 6. So I was going to say 5 out of 6. I was gonna say 5 out of 6. So I mean, yeah, it kind of went up a little bit in my mind, but yeah, 4 out of 6 is probably about right. It's still a great book. Just gotta check it out. It's a new one, but you gotta. It's when I say it's a great book, I say that as like it's a great book because it's kind of funny and has good art, and the premise is not that great, but maybe the writer and artist can do something cool with it.
Brian Anderson sliding in here on Facebook, mouthful of a title. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, so Knives Out in a comic book form.
Yes, kind of. Yeah, man. Definitely. Exactly.
All right. Well, taking a field trip over to Marvel, we got Murder. We got Murder going on at Strange Academy, issue number 11. Who Shattered Toth? So this line continues to impress. Definitely a strong 4 out of 6 on average, if not more. The field trip to Asgard was just a riot, and just seeing the school bus on Rainbow Road on the last cover just made me LOL so hard. So overall, it's just a fun, quirky book. Scotty Young continues to delight with that art. I am so curious to see how things go coming up, and I don't know. I can't say enough. I just constantly sing its praises. If you're not reading it, definitely recommend it. It's just a cool look, like I always say, of the magical side of the MCU. So it's cool.
Yeah, gnarly. Awesome. The next one I have up is I'll cut over to DC. Rorschach number 9. I'm actually only on issue 5 or 6, so I'm 4 behind on this one. But it does read better when I kind of chunk them together. But I'm really liking it. Tom King putting together a Watchmen story, my first Watchmen story besides the Watchmen that I've ever read or watched or anything. So.
I like the cover on that one. That was cool.
Yeah, it is, and I'll it has that cool, the lungs, but it's the roots. You get it.
The roots. All right. Well, you got what you guys didn't know about Tom Devine. When he's not busy being super dad or at work saving the world, he is getting his likeness illustrated on comic book covers. So Mighty Morphin issue number 8, we got the Green and White Ranger. So Tom got 2 royalty checks. Two. But on the flippy, you guys, this cover is so great. Dragon Zord looming in the background there. I bet the Virgin version without the header on top is probably just banging. I love me some Dragon Zord, so I'm really excited to read this. And I'm actually slowly getting caught back up with my reads, so I might actually get it done before next Wednesday. We'll see.
Nice work getting caught up. And I'm doing okay getting caught up too, so it's happening. Yeah. Next, I got Carmen number 4. I missed out on issue 2 and 3. This is becoming a popular series, so I will go and pick those up. But it's the same guy who is doing Joker, I think. This is his creator-owned book, and it's it's real weird and real awesome. So definitely suggest
that one's been getting a lot of good buzz online. And that was one I wanted to check out, and I didn't.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of people are picking it up, and I think a lot of people slept on it. So it's if you guys see it in the wild, it's probably worth grabbing.
In the wild, nice. That's awesome. All right, you guys. Well, switching gears, we're getting our Star Wars on here. War of the Bounty Hunters, Dr. Aphra, issue number 10. This book is still going hot for me. She's a witty character. It's just not as hot without 000 PT1.
Give him his droids. Give him his droids.
I flip through every issue when I'm doing the show with Tom. I don't see my droids and I get kind of mopey. I can guarantee this will be about a 3 out of 6, unless there's some real good dialogue and good character moments. So we'll see. But I'm loyal. I stick with it just because the character does make me good. It just cracks me up. It's fun. So.
Yeah, man. And you're in deep. And when those droids do come back, you will be so happy that it'll all be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up. This is one that I didn't have picked out, but my boy John Nordstrom knows your boy Tommy D, and he put it in the box for me. So I got Freak Snow, Revenge is a Drug, number 1, Harry Tank Comics. Who knows what this is? Action adventure. I don't, but I'm so stoked to check it out. When I went through, it has the real ink heavy, crazy style. So I was like, yeah, dude, I'll definitely at least check this out. Freak Snow. So we'll see how it is. I can't say either way yet.
It'll be amazing.
Yes.
It has to be. All right, what else do I got? Let's see here. Oh, here's a DC book. It's not that big of a deal. No one's probably reading it. Batman Detective Comics issue 1037. I don't know if anyone's heard of this series or not, but it's pretty fun. It's all right. But no, seriously, enjoying this. And I love that cover. I mean, it reminds me of like if Batman had his own dollar bill, this would be like the framing would be totally part of it, and it just makes me happy. So if you guys aren't checking this out, Batman being in a more vulnerable state is always interesting, and just kind of getting to follow along and seeing the darker side of Gotham. Which, how does it get darker? It can. I don't know if it's just in this book though, because like I said, Joker's pretty mean, but this one's pretty fun. So issue 1037, and boy, do I love saying that. That just has a ring to it. Tom told me offline he thinks I should try to collect all the other issues.
Well, you're close. I mean, I'm sure New 51's got you taken care of, bro.
No one's gonna compete with New 51. Force of nature, that one is.
Throw up that last comment. There's one.
Oh, yeah.
Any opinion on the new Proctor Valley Road from Brian? Hey, thanks for asking this. This is a great question. I actually did not pick up the issue, and I did it on purpose. I saw it was there. I could have picked it up, and I was on the fence, but I already had about a $50 day, and I knew that I was on the fence on that series anyway. It was a good series. Grant Morrison, good art, taking place on this road where a group of girls took these other people out there that were kind of like these jocks, and they, murder happened, and they're trying to figure it all out, and it's a mystery. But it just didn't hit me hard enough that I wanted to continue reading it enough that I was going to grab it, because if it was a light week, I actually probably would have snagged it, but then it would have been one of those ones that went to the bottom of my read list, and then, who knows when I actually got that. So, it is what it is, and and I didn't pick it up. So sorry, Brian. Great question, though, man. I appreciate you asking.
And good evening to you, Sir Comic Crack from YouTube.
Thank
you for tuning in. Remix. All right, bring it back. That was my pick, though, so I think you're up, man.
All right. I got DC Pride. The book. Who's just, it's the month. It's the month celebrating all of our friends, and I'm an ally to the LGBT community. John's the goddamn king, the April O'Neil of the community. So I figured, I know that a lot of corporations have been getting a lot of backlash for trying to be proactively pride centric and, try to back it and turning it around to being a money grub thing. And I'm hoping that's not what this is. And I'll tell you how I will be able to tell that is the creators that they have that I look through on here, they are going to be telling stories that are from their heart. And if that's the case, I don't feel the money grubbing part of it. I just feel the inclusive part of our community that me and John have been rocking and rolling with for 10 years. And I like to see DC catching up in big ways by putting out a big $10 comic. I'm sure it is going to make them a lot of money, but they are going to pass those on to that money onto artists and onto writers that, are going to be telling different kinds of stories than what comics have been told in the past.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I got both covers just because I was so excited about it. I thought it was a really cool offering. And honestly, I love these bigger books that DC puts out. Every single one of them. I just read the one that was focused on like Asian superheroes in the DC universe, and I thought that was freaking brilliant. Like, I enjoyed everything. I love the variety of art and the writers and everything. Short stories, long stories, the letters from the creators. I read it from front to back. I love it so much. So if you guys aren't checking it out, totally check it out. As a gay nerd myself, it's an interesting time of the year right now because I'm kind of Tom's mindset, where I kind of think of Pride as more a celebration not of me or Ken, but of the community of awesome people to which I surround myself with. So that's really what Pride means to me, I guess. And so a lot of companies like to, throw up their rainbow flags for 1 month of the year. My hats go off to the businesses that have that out 365. And we do have those in Sioux Falls, which is so cool, and it's just so welcoming and awesome. So that's what means the world to me. Pride Month is cool. I just, for me, I'm just proud of the people that we're surrounded with here. We have a really cool nerd community, and Rainbow Comics takes care of us as well. So definitely.
Damn right. And and to throw over to our Comic Book Bears, man, the second best talk show about comics compared to a comic book look, clearly big number one. Those number two. It's like I now I am a normal listener as well, man. So yeah, this community is always going to be supportive. Just like I like to think. I got a plane going overhead. I don't know if you can hear that.
I can definitely hear that, but I can hear you too.
Okay, sorry guys, but I was just gonna say, the comic industry isn't the same thing as mainstream society. We've always been a niche market. Read into the X-Men and what the message was of them back in the 60s. This isn't anything new to our community. This is our community and the rest of the world catching up, and I love to see it. And then I love to see DC putting out awesome shit like this. So yeah, man.
Dude, definitely. And honestly, with the Comic Book Bears too, I love their show, man. I always tell them they're comic book royalty because
they are.
Man, the new 51, you just don't play with that. And Tom, did you hear about his newest AKA?
What's that? No, I didn't.
Blue Steel.
Oh, I did hear.
Yes. He literally leans in and shows how blue his eyes are.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. I totally forgot about Blue Steel. God, Bill, you're the man.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
All right. Well, that was your pick and my pick. I am approaching X-Men Mountain here, so I'm just going to do a ton at once, I guess.
All right. Yeah, it looks like I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can talk about 7 other books, but I can group a lot together.
Okay. Yeah. I tell you what, I'll just do these all at once because they kind of run together in my mind.
I love
it. So you guys, flying through it here, we got Children of the Atom, issue number 4, controversial kiddos with some X-Men-ish powers. This series has actually been a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. It's a hoot. We got Excalibur, issue number 21, and I just realized I got both covers. The Looks cover, so Tom and I had a chance. Oh, Gambit, get back in last place. Get out of there. We had a chance to review that. Here's the normal cover. So again, this is all pertaining to the Hellfire Gala. I think I haven't even read into the event itself yet. I'm kind of behind still, so hoping to catch up on that. X-Men 21 is my other one, and we got Colossus. Speaking of Pride, just hanging out there. Look at that outfit. I mean, I don't know.
Stud,
dude, for real. But I was interested in this. X-Men 21, it has the Hellfire Gala seal on there, and then I see my boy Apocalypse is hanging out there towards the middle, and so that's interesting because he's been out of commission for a little bit. So yeah, I'm excited to read that. Aaron Evans says the best X-Men Mountain is the best mountain. Hey Aaron, thanks for tuning in. And then Brian still would like to see a Wolverine and Magneto romance comic. Come on, Marvel, get with it. I'd read it.
Of course you would.
I'd read it. Absolutely.
Add it to X-Men Mountain. He'd put it in the pull list.
And I do have two more.
Excellent.
So you do your thing.
All right. So I told Bunny Mask. This is my I think this is my last new book from Rainbow. So after this, it's kind of like all other extras. So, but Bunny Mask number 1. This was also one that was put into my pull list from John. I was like, yeah, I'll definitely check it out. The art looked really good, so I'm on board. Haven't read it yet though, but will. Bunny Mask number 1. Terrible name, but I'll check out the comic.
Well, my last Rainbow book, second to last, excuse me, and then I have a bomb to drop. But this next one, again, you guys, DC, it's on its way out. We see the Empire crumbling, and now Wonder Woman's hopping over to Marvel. Oh, excuse me, whatever your name is from Squadron Supreme. Heroes Reborn, issue number 6. Issue 5 and 4 were kind of a drag for me.
Ooh,
so
really?
It's starting to slow down a little bit because it's each character's perspective. And Dr. Prism and Nighthawk, meh, I did not care for those at all. And I felt really bad like tweeting that because I'm like, oh man, like, you know, what if Jason Aaron is just like, why are you being a jerk, you know, because you watch the show all the time. But I liked it at the beginning. It was a strong start. I love the book that focused on the speedster, Blur, I think his name was, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This had better be good because the team is starting to tank for me a little bit. And this is that alternate reality crap that I don't like, and I don't know why I'm getting it at this point. So, so we'll see if it turns around. But yeah, the last 2 issues were kind of meh.
You're getting it. Yeah, you're getting it because Marvel has you on your heels. They're bringing you. They hit you with that first one, and you're like, okay, I'll get it. It's a new event, and then they're like, oh, I bet he thinks he's gonna have to wait a whole entire month. Nope. Issue 2 next week. Issue 3 next week. Issue 4 next week. So it's like, yeah, I'm getting it, and you never get your bearings to just stop, and that's how Marvel gets you, and that's why you're going to watch Loki tonight. You know, it's like you can't help.
I'm dedicated, man.
You gotta get dedicated. No, I love it, bro. I'm just kidding.
All right, I just got my big battle tank left, so you're
okay. So, couple things real quick. Island. Remember, I told you guys I'm going to buy 1 issue of Island every week. This is this book that I missed from like that Brandon Grand curated every single week. It's an old issue that came out in 2017. Don't care. I picked up another one. That's just real quick. Now I'm going to go into. Okay, so we all know I talk enough about Dead Cells, right? I mean, I do, but I ran into Mark.
Good book.
I ran into Mark again today. Pick it up if you don't have it. So Mark's a really cool indie artist that lives here in Sioux Falls, and he's turned me on to a bunch of other. I don't mean to say he turned me on, you gross sickos. I just mean he showed me a bunch of cool comics. So,
enlightened.
Exactly. And one of the ways he does this is through a zine. You know, these zines are these things that, you know, everybody knows what a zine is. If you don't, you know, look it up. Well, this Stranger zine is this dude has kind of like searched around for really cool creators comics that are making creator-owned stuff that are super indie, printing it themselves, just like Dead Cells. So, you know, they actually distribute Dead Cells anywhere in the country, and you can get it through this Stranger zine. So I picked up some comics from them that I want to talk about, and the first 2 are Horn Rim. This is Horn Rim number 3, and this is Horn Rim number 1. This is from Nate Garcia, this dude who's from Philadelphia, who's telling really funny stuff. It's definitely R. Crumb style. This first one was good, and I was excited to read more. But by the time he got to the 3rd one, which they were sold out of issue 2, so I didn't get issue 2. But by the time I finished the 3rd one, it was so much better. This was such a good comic, so I definitely, if you can get number 3, definitely grab that. And then another one I got is Night Hunters. Now, it's hard to get these comics at our Rainbow shop. I have gotten some at Rainbow and some not. But Rainbow tries to get them as well, and you just can't order a ton of these. So this is that comic shop that Sleepy Reader, you know, goes to. And they also print these own comics, and then so I was able to actually score this one through. I got my first 2 issues through Rainbow. Got this one, was able to score it through Strangers. So I was real stoked on that. And then the last one was Future. Number 6. This was a really funny, if you can see the title, has this like Popeye looking guy with money coming out of his ass. But this was a really, really funny book as well. So I just, and well done, and out of the realm of what normal comics that that we're seeing, even from Image, Aftershock, Boom. This goes even one level deeper, and it's pretty cool to see some of this stuff. So yeah, definitely follow Stranger Zine on Instagram. You'll be able to see some previews of some of this stuff as well, and find out the dudes that are also supporting our boy Mark Wagner.
Boom, that's awesome. Let's see, Comic Crack from YouTube writes, Strangers, Fanzine, and Bubbles are both great.
Yes, I agree. Nice work. I totally agree.
Woo. And he says, "Oh, Future, nice one."
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I got a bomb to drop here, and I just totally felt that. So last night, I turned into a certain Netflix show that is also a prominent part of Tom's heart for comic books, and so they came out with a little compendium, today. And I picked it up, and I just caught it mentions Netflix on the cover, which is hilarious because I'm like, oh my gosh! But we watched this first episode last night, and I loved it, and I was like, ah! So I got the compendium. Now, Tom, this is just the DC Black Label offering. This is not all the original stuff, right? Or is this everything?
Yeah, that's the original. It's a usual. I think it's 40 issues, so I'm sure that's everything right there. It was just originally Vertigo. Vertigo, they don't print anymore, so all the Black Label stuff is for Vertigo. So even though it was originally printed under Vertigo, that is what DC Black Label is. That's where you find Sandman and these other things that were Vertigo. And so yeah, it's just kind of like the adult DC. But yeah, man, remember I have with it doesn't, that one does not have that new series that I was just talking about, the one that pissed me off with all the superhero ads and shit in the middle of it.
Yeah, we don't have time for that,
and you don't need to read that anyway. That takes place way down the line. So I'm so glad you checked it out. It's funny because when I was coming in here, my wife and daughter were starting to watch it, and I was like,
yes.
I was like, you're gonna watch Sweet Tooth without me? And she's like, why wouldn't I? What are you talking about? I was like, well, it's a comic. I have every single one. She's like, well, I didn't know that. I don't have any idea that this was a comic book. It just looked like a good show, and they were enjoying it. So I am stoked. One of our boys from SuperCon, Shane, he gave it a glowing review, saying it's like better than almost every other comic book adaptation for TV show. So a lot of people are talking about it. I'm definitely going to check it out. And it's good to see Jeff Lemire getting some praise and hopefully getting some moolah.
Some cheddar. That's right. Oh, man. But yeah, mountains of comics to read. I have filed a crap ton of comics. I got to run them downstairs and alphabetize them coming up. And yeah, it's nice to be current on that, as it were, until now.
Man.
Yeah.
I have just one last book right here, The Walking Man. I've heard about this book for a really, really long time. It's a Japanese comic artist and writer who died early, and his work was kind of overlooked at the time, but is now considered, to be some of the best storytelling practices ever. And all it is about like a guy going for a walk and it starts raining, or a guy going for a walk and he sees a flower, or a guy, and it's all storytelling. And it's supposed to be really, really groundbreaking. So I finally got it. Thanks, Bezos. I really appreciate you sending this to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys, another fun-filled week here. We're June of 2021. Holy smokes, we're almost halfway through this year, and I don't know about you, Tom, but things are starting to return back to a sense of normalcy in a way. I'll say that carefully. It's kind of getting back there. I'm getting some good vibes, and maybe summer's helping. I don't know, but Tom and I, we do hope you guys are having an excellent week in comics. Share with us what you picked up, and if you agree or disagree with any of our preliminary reviews, let us know. And of course, you guys know I'm always right. So choose the side of Angels, choose the winning team, right? As I have my Dark Avengers poster here. But yeah, I hope you guys have an excellent weekend coming up, and we'll look forward to connecting with you next week, and I'll have some fun adventures to share, and it's going to be awesome. So I'm very excited.
Can't wait to hear about it.
You betcha. All right. Well, I am @John on Demand on Twitter. We got @Tom Stu Divine, or collectively we are @A Comic Book Look on the Twitters. If you're not on Facebook watching this, please join our Facebook group, A Comic Book Look, to continue the conversation. We'd love to hear from you. We are A Comic Book Look, proudly sponsored by Rainbow Comics. If you're in Sioux Falls, swing by 42nd in Minnesota. If you're in Lincoln, Nebraska, stop by and say howdy. We got a crew down there as well to take care of you. We will be back at you next week for sure. And you guys know the drill as always.